So my name's Eric Gist. I'm often credited as E.M Gist. I've been an illustrator for almost 20 years now and working in art for about 25. I also teach at Watts Atelier. I think I've been there a total of about 30 years and teaching for about 25. What made me decide to pursue a career in the art world is basically I was never really good at anything else. And there were other things that caught my interest, but the only thing that I was good at and caught my interest and really excited me was art, like popular culture art, specifically comic books, movies, animation, things like that. So my process or flow with creating my artwork is obviously I start with the brief from the client, and then I start just cranking out thumbnails, which are really rough little designs. They're really more graphic designs than anything, and I'll narrow it down to 3, 4, maybe 5 that I like, and then I'll transfer that to a large board. Then I just start going in and painting. The medium that I prefer, the materials in general that I prefer, oil paints usually. Most of my finished professional work is done with oils. Pretty standard oil paints, nothing too tricky with the oil paints that I use. In terms of inspiration, and my sort of personal mentor, the guy who taught me how to draw and paint for the most part, is Jeffrey R. Watts, and he and my wife are huge personal inspirations to me, and they're both great painters, so I've learned a lot from them. My favorite Marvel comic book character is actually this guy right here, Moon Knight. In fact, I requested to do this print. So let's just say my Moon Knight artwork is probably my favorite body of work that I've done. Moon Knight would probably take up a good half of my top 10, so I just talk about how fun his costume is, especially if you're painting it more realistically, because there's just so many different textures. As a painter, I have a unique ability to follow how his costume is described, you know, the different materials that his costume is made out of with silver and things of that sort, that it's really almost about texture, and it's very difficult to get texture to come across in, you know, pen and ink traditional comic work. It's music that was never new but never gets old. That's kind of what I'm looking for in my artwork, is it's something that's new but at the same time kind of classic and timeless, coming up with a unique personal take that is true to the nature of the character but also hitting that deadline. Those are probably the two biggest challenges. So again, I'm E.M Gist, and you can find my work pretty much anywhere where you can find E.M Gist. If you go to Instagram and do a search for E.M Gist, my name should come up right at the top. If you go to Twitter, same thing. And my website is ericgist.com.